Alright, my friends, welcome. We have game number 1 in a best of 5. This is going down live, and Viper's in the yellow. Yes. You know, I really like it when Viper plays ACCM, because Viper likes his yellow, and ACCM likes his pink, and I feel like the color scheme fits. I think blue and red, and then yellow and pink are my favorite colors to cast in Age of Empires 2. It's very easy on my eyes anyway. So we have Viper here. He's in the yellow. He's playing as the Franks. And then in the purple, we have ACCM. He's playing as the Japanese. So Viper with a stronger civilization overall, I would say. But ACCM's style is very much like the Dragon, very much like any player who likes to go forward. And so Japanese, if they get a strong man-at-arms tower rush going, it could make things difficult for Viper. Obviously, Viper, he is playing in a tournament here, so we need to look at his map because, well, he's known for getting good maps. And, okay, right off the bat, Viper's building a mill instead of a lumber camp, which is a completely different build order. Normally, you would use your wood to build a lumber camp. This tells me Viper wants to go for a very fast uptime to feudal age, so keep this in mind. All the new build orders coming out for the Viper. He has 2 golds, very wallable. Kind of behind his town center here, he could easily wall in towards the berries, wall in between these wood lines to keep himself protected. He also has a few wood lines on the back, and then his stones are on the right-hand side. Overall, pretty solid for Viper. I don't think he'll be having many complaints, and if he advances to the next stage faster than his opponent, then he'll definitely be fine. I am curious what exactly he wants to do with the faster uptime, though. Normally, you would go for this type of a strategy if you're going for a tower rush, but Franks aren't known for that, so maybe it will just be a faster than normal scout rush.
Yes.
A Viper and ACCM are having conversation. I'm not sure what about. Okay, there was just a pause, that's all. Now, ACCM could steal this pig from Viper, and, you know, he sees it now, and Viper also has a goat there, which he could lose. He will lose. So ACCM up against the best player in the world, runs forward early, and he's going for a lame, and I believe Viper expects this now. Viper's lost his goat, so he's sending a scout back because ACCM is thinking about laming this. Honestly, the wise decision here is to leave the pig, I think, because Viper can block you off, and I don't think ACCM got enough hits there. Yeah, see, you need 2 hits, and he's just gotten 1, and I think this is a nervy start for ACCM. Viper's been waiting here. He knew he lost the goat, so he knew that the scout must be there. And yeah, now the pig is running back. And Viper, oh, he has pig. He has pig, and he's good to go. Viper will just chase ACCM back to his base. ACCM, we already talked about his civ. He has an okay map, but I hate this hill, you know? His hill is right next to his main gold and his main stone. It's going to be tough. It's going to be awkward for him. But at least he has a few wood lines close to the TC. At least he has this stone. At least he has this gold. That scout is pretty much dead, though, unless it runs to his TC. And ACCM does not want to lead Viper to his TC, so instead he's accepting the scout will die, and he will just run around. There's a few lions out here, guys. You hear that? There's a few lions roaming around. So at the end of the day, Viper, he lost a goat, but he pushed in a zebra, and he's getting loomed now, and again, I think this would be a much faster feudal time for him.
Okay.
If you're planning on going scouts, the risk often is your opponent can kill you before you get many scouts massed if they were to come forward and go for man-at-arms. But if you get to feudal age faster, then their man-at-arms will arrive after you have 3 to 4 scouts. So this is a very strong build for the Viper. Obviously, he is the best player in the world, so you have to expect clean build orders amongst other things, right? And this is just perfect. 8 on wood. He doesn't need 2 lumber camps with this population, so just go 8 or 9 on wood, already building his barracks. And then ACCM, kind of proving my point about the fast uptimes versus slower uptimes. He's getting loomed now, and this is a standard time for him. It's not necessarily late. Oh, Viper! Okay, Viper will keep his scout alive. It's fine. The ACCM is preparing the man-at-arms rush, but he's just now on the way to feudal age. So Viper has almost 2-minute head start here. It will not be easy for ACCM to do much damage against the Viper. But you said Vivi is the best player in the world. Did I say that, Noob Emperor? Reading my Twitch chat. I said Vivi is one of the best players in the world. You can never go into a 1v1 tournament and say that anyone's better than Viper. Like, regardless of form, regardless of opinions, it's just fact that Viper in 1v1s for many years now has been the best. And there's the stable. Oh, I appreciate the guy in the Twitch chat saying that T90 is the best player in the world. Now I have to avoid looking at chat because everyone's going to say that T90 is the worst player in the world. And that's not what I want to read. There we go. Scouts are being created. Now here comes ACCM. One thing about the maps is that the players are very close together. And ACCM, going Fat Dragon style, as I said he might at the start, he is sending not only 3 but 4 militia. And Viper sees this coming now. He knows that once ACCM hits Feudal, a tower could come out. And it's still risky business for the Viper. And also, these are Japanese infantry. So Japanese infantry attacks faster in Feudal Age. I don't know if Viper can safely fight this. But he still has the villagers coming out. This is all about how you can micro. Melee micro with individual units is so difficult. It's even more difficult to cast. But one thing I can tell you is that Viper needs to probably run here. ACCM goes in for the engagement and Viper's villagers run away. And Viper tries to kill a villager because she's weak. And he, well, let's be honest, he might get her eventually. But he won't get her right now. Oh wait, here it comes. Doink! She's dead. Well played, Viper. He tempted the man-at-arms away. Can he kill another one? He's going to get another one. That's 2 down. What a play. Though I have to say, pretty sloppy stuff from ACCM because he knew his villagers were weak. He has another one here on 2 HP. And Viper's just doing dances now with the faster units he has. And ACCM has built an archery range, and I'm not sure why he's built the archery range yet. And Viper knows that he should be able to comfortably fight and then run. But, oh, he misjudged this. He misjudged this. Viper loses a vill and ACCM loses another villager. Viper's still fighting with villagers. He just needs to kill the military from his opponent. That's all. He loses another vill. And a tower's going up for ACCM. So, this is okay-ish now. Things have evened out. It got very sloppy for a moment. 23 villagers for both. And ACCM, he has villagers forward building towers, and he has an archer there. Viper, of course, has prepared a skirmisher. So I think both towers go up. What Viper will lose are his bushes or his berries. But it shouldn't bother him too much because he doesn't have much food left there anyway. Viper's made all the correct decisions, really. He fought to buy himself a little bit of time. He picked off the villagers. He went to stone nice and early so he could build more towers. And economically, it's not amazing for him, but it's decent because he has so many farms up. He has the food coming in from a zebra he just collected, so he can create more villagers. Now, the beauty of having Japanese here is that their economy is very flexible. Their mining camps, their mills, their lumber camps are all cheaper, so you can build a bunch of them for efficiency. And then you save a lot of wood for farms or forward buildings, many different things. Oh, and Viper sent a villa and we'll lose him. Oh, this is interesting. Viper needs to wall in his vill. Oh, did you see that? It was a 1 HP vill. And he walled it in because he knew it could die. It's going to die now anyway. The archer will shoot it. Shoot it, please. Shoot it, please. ACCM. Shoot it! ACCM. Shoot it! What are you doing? It's a 1 HP vill, man. It's not Christmas time. You can't gift Viper these. I'm baffled. He must not know. He must not know, you know? He must not know, you know? Not my best casting ever, but we'll look past that. Okay, it's dead now, right? Yeah, it's fine. ACCM figured it out. He just wanted to freak the casters out. Scotty doesn't know. You know what? While Viper's building towers, he's trying to hit ACCM's base, and he's killed a villager. Actually, make that 2 and make that 3 here in a moment. As she needs to become a farmer now. Viper will find her. And Viper will... We'll keep an eye on that. What's interesting to me is that Viper's golds, at the start of this game, were seen as good golds. But against this style, they're very exposed now. The Viper looking for the weak villagers because they're out here. And that's all that he'll have for with a counter. He hasn't created many more scouts. He killed another villager from ACCM. What a start. This whole game has been interesting. Viper's actually down than Vils. But what a sloppy game. Like, this is just like the dragon, you know? Vivi is casting this to his Chinese audience right now, and he probably has this big cheesy grin in his face. But Viper started this tower ahead of time, and for that reason his tower will go up before. Oof, that's a late double bid axe time for ACCM. I think ACCM's tower should go up. Viper does not want this to go up, obviously. But ACCM should get his up in time and then hop inside. And he's done just that. And Viper created a few more scouts. He's lost all 3 of them. And now he could lose his skirmishers if he's not careful. So ACCM delaying Viper. The question is it enough? Is his economy solid back at home? It definitely looks messy, but he has all the map control. And Viper shifts out to the left-hand side now. He knows he needs wood. And he also knows that ACCM doesn't have a lot of military. Viper does need to track everything that comes out of this archery range, because there are archers in there. But he has skirms. And Viper playing is very safe and feudal. Sometimes you'll see him make few units and go to Castle Age and then push back. He's creating quite a few scouts and quite a few skirmishers. Perhaps expecting another tower to come up on this wood line. If Viper does play Vivi in the finals of this tournament, because that's the only way he could face up against the dragon, this would be a perfect practice set. This would be perfect practice. And this is dangerous for ACCM now, because what Viper can do is use his skirmishers versus any spears and any archers, and then his scouts can mop up the rest. And ACCM just builds another tower here. I don't see how he can keep these units alive unless he has towers up. And Viper, his towers are garrisoned, so he should eventually kill ACCM's tower. Economically speaking, now you need to look at farmers. So Viper has about 11 farmers. ACCM, he has a few more, so ACCM might be able to get to the next stage faster. Or he might have the food to make his own scouts, which I love, actually. Because, again, the archers are not going to do anything for him. Spearmen are not going to do anything for him. So he would either have to fall back with a lot of defensive towers, which he doesn't want to do. He's repairing here. So just go for your own scouts. It's certainly not easy, though, because Viper has Frank scouts and Viper has 5 already, and Viper sending the skirmishers forward. And this is where Viper starts to take a big lead in this game. He's held on at home. He's created more military. He kills 2 more villagers. And there's very little ACCM can do against this right now. He can make a few of his own scouts, but even if he has 5 scouts, Viper has 5 stronger scouts. And ACCM loses, was it 2 villagers on the back? Because I believe he had 4. Yeah, I think he lost 2 more villagers here. And everything's looking very good for the snake. Ooh, hold on a moment. Okay, Viper has a tower here. I was thinking that Viper could be caught out by these archers, but he built a tower, so he's fine. Scouts and skirms, the strongest combo in Feudal Age, really. Get enough skirmishers, you can kill any archers, any spears, any enemy skirmishers, any men-at-arms even, and then the scouts can do a ton of damage, have a lot of mobility. Oh, it's not looking good for ACCM. Now he sends his archers around, he sees the tower, he sees the skirms. Viper can't be touched. The only vulnerable area for the Viper is on a stone. But even then, he should be able to send skirmishers, or could even build a tower there. Can ACCM surprise Viper? He has 4 scouts versus Viper's 5. Still not going to be enough for him. He did get a tower up on his gold. He did, well, luckily he's still alive on his stone. He hasn't done anything there. But ACCM needs a response now, and he's hoping a few spearmen will help. He gets 1 scout kill. He almost gets 2 scout kills. This is at least enough to get some breathing room. Otherwise, it's trouble. And ACCM goes in for the skirms, as he should. And all I want to see is Viper's scout HP. Viper's scout HP is stronger. He's using his skirms versus the spearmen there. And yep. Viper wins the fight. He wins the fight. and he's getting closer to the next stage, and you can see the control this guy has. The skirmisher's already waiting for ACCM to surprise him. ACCM, he did a good job at the start, but Viper, you know, people expect him to be the most aggressive player in the game. He's actually not the most aggressive player. He's never been the most aggressive player. He tends to play more defensive at times, and then he finds the times to strike with a counter. And it's worked out in Game 1. I don't think ACCM will have the res to go up soon. Yeah, ACCM has 150 food. Viper, 600 food. On top of that, he has his gold. Building a tower here, and yeah, he sees ACCM's back here. He just expects everything, and ACCM will lose the vills now. Oh man, ACCM is not having a good time now. It's looking rough. Yeah, Viper should kill these vills. ACCM might be able to wall them in. Maybe can keep them alive and go back to this lumber camp he built for them. But I doubt it. Viper will get more vill kills, and he's on his way to Castle Age. And with that, unless ACCM does a lot to give himself some time, unless ACCM has a big counter now, Viper will probably win this game. What ACCM needs is he needs a good engagement, possibly using the scouts he's created versus any skirms Viper has. But he needs to buy himself a solid 2 minutes, I think, because by the time he's up, there will be a 2 or 3 minute difference with the uptimes of Castle Age. Viper will just go right into Knights. Frank Knights, best Knights in the game. Well, okay, maybe not the best Knights in the game now, but some of the best Knights in the game, obviously getting the extra HP. Viper already getting scale barding. Viper has a great eco for this. I was so used to saying that Franks have the best Knights in the game, but now that Magyars get the extra attack in Castle Age, it's arguable. So, yeah, think what you like, but it still will be fantastic. We're not here to debate on civs. So the beauty of the composition that ACCM has right now is he can do a bit more damage versus Knights with archers, but Viper's composition is better because it's so easy to go Knights and Elite Skirm, and even before the upgrades come in for the Viper, you can see what the skirmishers are able to do versus these archers. Does need to be a bit careful with this though, Viper. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose all of his skirmishers, but he's traded nicely versus the archers. ACCM only has 3 left. And I think ACCM will have to go for his own Knights. Japanese do get bloodlines, and he's building a second stable. So again, ACCM needs to buy time. He needs to buy some time for himself. He's using his scouts to distract that one Knight. He's walling up his stone. He is open on the right-hand side. He's open on the left-hand side. Viper is going to a second TC, and he's going to a third TC. So that means he'll have a huge eco lead over ACCM. And what Viper can do now is use his mobility. He can hit this woodline while at the same time trying to hit the farms. Already splitting groups. This is Viper's point of view. He runs into the woodline. He's even distracting the tower there. And he chooses to fight the spearman. He does have chain barding armor, so he can do this. 3 Knights versus 3 spearmen. Well, the Knights are going to win there. I think so. Yep, and then Viper can go in towards the vills. This is great for the Viper. This is a fantastic position. He's killing vills, and he has more TCs to create villagers. That spells disaster for ACCM. He's trying now. He'll go for Monastery, which is the correct approach to get a few conversions. But what the guy needs is a strong Castle Age. I didn't realize he had so many archers in the archery range. That's one thing he could use. And perhaps with a few conversions, perhaps if he saves up stone and goes for a forward castle, he could stop the Viper. But it's not easy to ever count on a YOLO forward castle when you verse Franks. Franks have those cheap castles, so Viper, even if he doesn't have the stone, could buy the stone with the economy he'll have. Oh, guys, look at this. Vipers on the ostriches. Imbalanced map. The ostriches were closer to Viper than they were to ACCM. Someone call the admins and complain. Map win. Map win. Viper always getting the map win, man. It's unreal. I'm just joking, of course. Crossbow comes in, but Viper surrounds the crossbows immediately. And Viper goes for conversion, which he gets, but the monk just goes right down. And I think Viper can brute force his way to victory now with knights. He doesn't necessarily need to take this fight, but he has such a strong lead with economy that he can continue to push with full knights. Yeah, pull back for now. Wait for more to be created. He's actually creating his own monastery. The big thing here is to heal. Well, the way this will play out is ACCM will push with less eco. Viper has more eco. If Viper can put his economy to use with knights or whatever he might choose to do, then he'll be just fine. Did I say Viper goes for a conversion? Guys, it's like 8 a.m. for me, okay? I'm sorry. I apologize. And Viper's on his stone, so I think 480... What is it? 488 stone he needs for a castle, chat? I forget the exact number for Franks, but it's somewhere around there. Has woodline secured, has gold secured. Stone's a little bit exposed. I think if I'm ACCM, I consider going pikes here. Yeah, he's making spearmen. And he's on stone with more than the 3 villagers he had earlier on in this game. These miners are really confused. They have to run the whole way around. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. But yeah, I think pikemen and a forward castle and siege. Yeah, this is how you have to play it. Viper must be house at the moment, or I don't know why he's building the houses with 5 villagers. And Viper's making a few archers, so Viper wants to go... I'd be surprised to see more archers. Maybe he'll continue with it, but I was thinking he'd go skirmishers here. Franks don't have the best archers, of course. ACCM, the 16th seed in this tournament, had a great result versus CL, who was the 17th seed. He won 3-1. ACCM has played Viper before in many tournaments. He's gotten wins off him in games. He's never won a set versus Viper, unless we're talking team games, in which case I think Vietnam Legends has done that a few times. Viper, he needs to be patient now. Again, he doesn't need to push because he has a 30 villager lead. And it's ACCM who needs to push. It's ACCM who needs to do damage. And I'm expecting a forward castle. So, in the lead up to this, with the Civ Draft, Viper's Civ Draft name was Doubt is Out. He was giving Doubt a hard time for not staying in the tournament. But will we see a Doubt Castle? That's the question now. Will we see a Doubt Castle? Because that's where ACCM wants to place the castle. Viper has crossbows with full upgrades. Full upgrades available to Franks. Ballistics coming in. I don't think that ACCM can get this castle up. Sure, Franks, they don't have the best archers, but it works to perfection here. Viper kills every single monk that ACCM has. Oh my god, ACCM kills his own units with the Magadels. And that castle's not going up. There's just no way. Viper will kill everything now, and these villagers have to run back home. And now what do you do? Now what do you do? You're behind in eco, you're behind in military. You won't get that forward castle up. Honestly, the game should be over now. That's what you do. You think about resigning because Viper's done everything he needed to do to survive. Yeah, Viper will likely click up to the Imperial Age soon. Yeah, he could easily do that. And ACCM, realizing it's a big money tournament, realizing he's up against the Viper, he wants to try. But he probably knows it's unlikely he'll get the victory now. The Viper does click up to the Imperial Age, and ACCM calls the GG. So, it came down to the counterattacks from Viper this game. Honestly, his defense wasn't perfect. He lost some villagers versus the Man-at-Arms. He lost some villagers versus the towers. But what Viper was able to do was get enough eco rolling where he could make the skirmishers and the scouts. And ACCM, he didn't hold Viper at his base. If ACCM would have been more of a threat with his attacks, then Viper would have never been in a position to counter. But the downside of a forward is, if you're not doing enough damage, then they'll counter you and you will not have anything at home. In this case, ACCM had his archer range forward, so he could never send archers back to help. He obviously was building his towers forward, so he couldn't build towers at home. And that's what decided it for me, because Viper had so much security in the back of his base, and ACCM really did not. And right when Castle Age hit, Viper was in a position to build 2 new town centers, boom up, and ACCM had to be more aggressive. However, you look at this if you're ACCM and you think, okay, I got to the Imperial Age versus Viper. It wasn't that bad. There were opportunities. Viper was not perfect. Viper lost villagers to my attack. So he's got to take something positive away from that. I would be feeling pretty good, honestly, if I performed like that in game 1. And Viper leads every category with the eco. And we'll move along now to game number 2. Game number 2, they'll have different civs, of course. And this is a best of 5. So Viper's winning 1-0. Viper and ACCM, whoever wins this, will move on to face the winner of Hera and Tato, which we will cast tomorrow. That will be exciting. A lot of people think it will be Tato and Viper there. And here's a look at the civilizations. I apologize, the draft is a bit bugged, so you have the Malian information here at the top left. Just pay no attention to that. Viper's used Franks already, and then we saw Japanese for ACCM. If Viper does win this set, he will not be able to use Franks in round 3. So any civilization you play with in rounds 1 and 2, you will not have available for round 3. Viper's Civ draft is pretty strong here, so he obviously sees ACCM as a strong player. Viper has Burmese, Celts, Slavs, and Malians, and then ACCM has Burmese, Byzantines, Incas, and Mayans. And personally, well, I'm excited to see what Byzantines can do. I think Byzantines are underrated in 1v1s. If you build up their trash in feudal, they can be almost any civilization. So I'm excited to see that, but I like Viper's draft a bit better. Mayans is something that Viper would obviously want, but he's saving it. He's saving it for round 3. He believes he can get there. Surprise, surprise. But Incas is and just having Slavs here is a big deal for the Viper. Okay, guys, so question for you. I started off the stream today. I didn't get to ask you all about the audio. Is the audio good? Any complaints? I didn't change anything, but I just want to make sure that everything's good. Oh, yeah, I will put the Civ draft in the chat, Blue Pill, so you can add that as a command. Okay, cool. It's good to hear the audio is good. Thank you all for stopping by today. We'll have a long day of Age of Empires 2. You can see the schedule there on the overlay. Viper vs. ACCM, Yingwall vs. Lan, Leary vs. Feliz. I'd like to take this moment to thank Mem for organizing the tournament. It's been a great event so far. And thank you, Matt Gisals and Microsoft, for getting involved as well with the sponsorship. But man, I took 4 days off, as most of you know, because I was visiting with Dave. And I'm so excited to be back, man. I'm so excited to be back. I kept looking at the brackets. I kept following the tournament. I just love this so much. And geez, you know, there's been so many subs and whatnot that I can't even get to them right now. So, guys, what I'll do is I'll address all my shout-outs after this game, okay? Thank you, everyone, for coming into the stream and supporting what I do here with the subs and whatnot. I can't go through the list. I can't go through the list. The game has begun. That's what we're here for. Oh, and we have Celts versus Byzantines. Celts versus Byzantines. Okay. Well, I think that Celts, Burmese, those are civs that can beat Byzantines. So Viper's gone Celts here, and ACCM's gone Biz, perhaps hoping that Viper would go Slavs or something. This is a bit unfortunate for ACCM, and wise pick from the Viper if he was expecting ACCM to go for Biz. They know that there's 4 civilizations left for their opponent, but they don't know what civ their opponent goes with until they get into the game. And here we have the Viper, and we'll start off with his map, as we always do, and he has 2 safe golds, as he always does. Can we get the grass hacks and the T90 hacks in the chat? Because Viper, best player in the world, surprise, surprise, has 2 golds safe. Meanwhile, look at ACCM, and okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But ACCM has all the hills, man. Look at this. ACCM has all the hills. Viper has nice flat land. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It depends on how it plays out. I don't see ACCM's base being the reason he will lose this game. He still has some back resource options. But anyway, Viper's 2 golds are here. He can wall it off easily. His main stone is here, and his secondary stone is there. So perhaps that could be a concern for him. The Byzantines, if they keep Celts off stone, then it's a pretty good matchup for them. And I'll get into that. Viper has his 3rd gold to the north, which he can't really town center, so that is one thing that's exposed for him. ACCM's main gold can be walled in. He can wall it on both sides, so it's fine. This gold's going to be suspect for him. And then... where's the other one, guys? Oh, it's down here. Okay. Well, again, you can't town center if there's hills, so he can't secure this easily unless he builds a TC up against the edge of the map, which is unlikely. So this is going to be rough to have the 2 forward golds. Viper's certainly better off there. ACCM has a stone in the back. 2 stones in the back, actually, so he has that to work with. And one thing that ACCM has that Viper doesn't have with these maps is that ACCM has more wood options. He has safer wood options. So let's say Viper comes forward and builds a tower, which is unlikely because Viper doesn't normally do that. But if he were to, ACCM can easily go to the back. Oh, he lost a villager! Oh, God. And that's after 4 minutes, so he can't use a restart. Ouch. Well, we'll pretend we didn't see that. T90 wrecked. He can use this wood line and this wood line is my point. Whereas Viper, he can go to this one, I suppose. But if he loses access to the front, he could be in real trouble in this game. So the reason I said that Celts are better versus Byzantines than some of the other civs, this is just my thoughts on it. So Byzantines in 1v1s, what they'll normally do is they will go with a barracks and 2 archery ranges. And all they'll do is make pointy boys out of the barracks or spears out of the barracks and make skirmishers out of the archery ranges. So they just go full trash because of the trash discount. And it could beat virtually any civilization. However, Celts, they're a strong man-at-arms civ. And so the counter to trash is the champion line. So we could see Viper go longswords in this game, possibly. Obviously, if he's in Castle Age, he has the strong, faster-firing mangonels as well. So if you're a trash civ, if you're Byzantines, the last thing you want to face off against is a civ that's strong with infantry and siege. Because that's what can counter you. So it would be better if you had Byzantines versus, I don't know, a strong archer civilization or a strong knight civilization, not a strong infantry and siege civilization. And obviously, world raiders are incredibly strong versus trash. And Viper does have the forward stone, so we'll have to secure them. Yeah. Now, what's interesting to me here is Viper has built 2 farms. If he was going man-at-arms, you wouldn't normally see that. However, he's Celts. So he's probably thinking he'd chop the wood faster. And no, ACCM, no! Oh no, he loses his scout now. This is such a rough start for him. I mean, no offense to the noobs out there watching the stream, but this reminds me of casting a noob game in a way. Because they just make a beeline right to the TC, you know? So obviously ACCM's not a noob, but it's been a sloppy start for him. And despite that, he is on the way to feudal age the same time as Viper. And I think he's going forward. Yeah, he must be going forward. For a second, I thought he was going to the north. He must have been looking for the ostriches, right? Yeah, there they are. He'll find it and he'll win the game with the ostriches, just like Viper did last time. But he wants to go forward, but he hasn't scouted where Viper's stones are. So if he's thinking of denying stones, he can't do that. And Viper is going for man-at-arms. ACCM is going to no man's land. Viper has 2 safe golds. His stones are on the right. ACCM is blind. He doesn't know. He's gambling, of course, and hoping he'll find something. And Viper's doing just fine here. He's collecting the zebras, which you see him do often if they're close to his TC. He has his berries secure. I mean, this is the worst possible area to go forward. The worst possible area to go forward. And this is the importance of scouting in Age of Empires 2. You need to make sure you scout. And apparently wall, because ACCM has full walled his base at minute 10. Can we get some Fat Slob love in the chat? Some T90 loves in the chat. That's a lot of investment into walling, man. But it's honestly good because Viper was going to come in with Man-at-Arms, so you know, I can't really bash the guy for that. I think what Viper is expecting is he's expecting his opponent to go for the trash. So what he doesn't want to do is start making any archers. So this could be one of the rare moments where we see upgrades on the Man-at-Arms in Feudal Age. Because Viper's built an early blacksmith. I wonder if he'll go for scale mail armor for his Man-at-Arms. Now I say Man-at-Arms, he actually has not upgraded them yet. And now he's sending his militia back because he sees ACCM is here. Viper was waiting outside of ACCM's walls for something, and now he knows exactly what's going on. And here come the spears and here come the skirmishers. And there it is! Viper's researching Man-at-Arms, but he's also getting scale mail armor. This is very unique. But unique does not mean bad in this situation. It's actually quite a good thing. And I also like what ACCM has done there. Now this could be risky because Viper will probably fight with Vils and the Man-at-Arms incoming. But I like how he's forced Viper into his one and only tower here. And then he tries to position one here. But oh god, Viper comes in with the Man-at-Arms. Both upgrades come in. The scale mail armor upgrade and the Man-at-Arms upgrade. And ACCM loses 2 villagers. Oh, he'll lose everything here at this rate. He could lose another villager. He's losing his spearman. Yep, there's the 3rd villager down. So he has 1 villager forward. Viper has 26 vills. ACCM somehow has 20. And more Men-at-Arms on the way. Again, Viper just cool, calm. Under the pressure that players send at him, he's so good at addressing it. He didn't even know where ACCM was. He's even collecting the zebras right next to the military, you know? Now, he's that comfortable here. But, you know, trash, it doesn't kill villagers very easily, and Viper's micro is good, so he'll fight with Vils where he wants to. And ACCM's in trouble. I mean, this is just not good. This is much worse than the first game. First game, he actually did some damage, but here he just ran forward to lose villagers. And Viper, he's creating a second barracks and making more Men-at-Arms. Now, this is something that Viper wouldn't do in a semifinal or a final. It's not trolling. I don't want you guys to think that, but when you make 2 barracks like this, but you're only using 1, that is seen as a waste. So I've checked these multiple times now, and Viper's only using 1 of them, right? So he could have used that wood for farms instead, or his own archery range. It's also quite risky to invest in more Men-at-Arms if ACCM makes archers, which he's been trying to do, but Viper, I don't know if you noticed, he killed one. And Viper has 5 of these Men-at-Arms. And on the bright side for ACCM, he is safe at home. So it's not as if Viper can counterattack with these. But Viper is going for forging now. So he'll go even for forging, which in my eyes is a bit unnecessary. He doesn't need that, right? He's already cleaning this up. But what he wants is some time. Again, Kelt's so good here because their infantry, they're quick, they're agile, and it's the exact counter versus the trash build. If Viper was Franks like he was in game 1, this would be awkward. He wouldn't be able to do this. But this plays out right into Viper's hands, really. T90 official, second barracks enhances defender's advantage, and it's more important than even more farms. I don't necessarily think so. I think Viper just wants to make more. He just wasn't using it originally. It's not that far away. And he already had the lead, right? He already had a Vil lead. He was already fighting with Vils. It was fine. I don't think it's for defender's advantage. I think it's because Viper wants to make more of these. And this becomes a very special game. 22 kills for Viper. 4 deaths. And ACCM's like, we got this. We're going to make some trash. We're going to make some trash. This is just fine. This is fine. And if he's not careful, ACCM will... You know, maybe it's better to give the wolf the kill. I was going to say he should be careful, but maybe it's better to give the lion the kill than Viper. You don't want to pad Viper stats anymore. ACCM, quite frankly, has done nothing this game except die. It's been bad. And his forward archery range is going to be a dead archery range. And Viper, with the Celt economy, has 300 food, 250 gold, 400 wood. He has tons of farmers. He hasn't gone to stone. He's not concerned about that. He hasn't even full walled his base. He knows he's ahead. And if for some reason Viper didn't feel like he had a read on the game, and he obviously does, he could look at the score, and the score would tell him everything he needs to know. I like how the spearmen are like, we're getting out of here. We'll save our friends. Oh, geez. Well, what a sacrifice. What a sacrifice. ACCM is building more archery ranges. And there's one villager here doing this. Oh no, don't lose the archery range. Okay, he had a foundation on 30 HP. But yeah, this is trouble, man. He is making a few archers. But by the time he gets enough archers to kill Viper's men-at-arms, I think Viper will be in Castle Age. So I did not cast Viper vs. Black. But I was not surprised to see 3-0 victory. And prior to this set, I probably would say Viper 3-0. ACCM's a solid player, but he's not at the level that some of the other players will be in this tournament to threaten Viper. Now, what does ACCM do here? Can he send his archers into this small little hole? Is that what he tries for? He's actually out of wood and can't repair his archery range. Okay, the palisade wall is deleted. The villager's running away. Yeah, he sends the archers right there. I think he'll still lose them. I think he'll still lose them to this many men-at-arms. Oh god. It's getting worse, guys. 38 kills for Viper, 7 deaths. It's getting so much worse. Oh jeez. And the T90 farms are going. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, this is rough. And for Viper, this is just... This is a game he should win. You know, he's done everything right. He'll now make his own archers. He'll actually go towards crossbows. Of course he can do that because his opponent doesn't have any skirmishers. Viper's on stone, so that means he'll have enough stone to build new town centers in the next stage as well. And the GG's got to be coming in here shortly. This has been a massacre. ACCM doesn't stand a chance. If he doesn't call the GG after he loses these archers, if he doesn't call the GG after seeing Viper's archers, he will call the GG once Viper's in Castle Age. And then I think going into the next game, Viper will probably go for the civ that he likes the least. That way he has his best civilizations remaining for round 3. If he wins, of course. If he wins, who knows? ACCM might turn things around. Not looking good, of course, now. I don't think I would put any money on that, but who knows? This is fine, right? Yeah, there's the GG. Don't freak out, chat. That G was a misclick from Viper, okay? He did correct himself and type GG. No forum posts now. Viper salty. Viper disrespecting his opponent. The disrespect. He's fine. He's fine. He didn't mean to do that. Look, though. Long swordsman, bodkin arrow, crossbow, bow saw. Okay. Okay, I see you, Viper. Strong play from him. Really strong play from him. But has to be said, bad game from ACCM. He lost a Vil, which is not something that should ever happen at this level. He lost his scout to the TC, which is also something that should never happen at this level. And then it was just an uphill battle from there. He's playing versus the best player in the world after those two things, and then he didn't have any scouting, and it just was not good. Very fast games, very clinical games from the best player in the game. And Viper is now up 2-0. Now later on today, almost immediately after this in fact, we will have Yinghua versus Lan. Yinghua beat Doubt in round 1 and Lan beat Tim in round 1. So those upsets were nuts, and we will get to see what Yinghua and Lan can do. I'm excited for that set. We'll also have Lyria and Valise today. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hi YouTube, hi mom. You are seeing this whole set between Viper and ACCM now in one video, and then Yinghua and Lan and Lyria and Valise will also be on YouTube later on. But Age of Empires 2 all day today. Alright, let me refresh this now. Okay, cool. So Viper, he has used Franks and Celts. It has been Japanese and Byzantines for ACCM. I find his picks really weird. Sure, Japanese and Byzantines can work, but why play with Japanese and Byzantines first? Wouldn't you want your best civ wouldn't you want Mayans in the first 2 games versus Viper? I don't know. I mean, I would. Viper's Civ draft name is Doubt is Out, because Doubt is out, and Viper's a troll. And I think Viper will go for the Civ that he wants the least in round 3, because he could face off either against Hera or against Tato there. I think he'll go for Burmese. Burmese are a strong Civ, but Slavs and Malians are more versatile and a bit stronger in some ways, so I would probably expect Burmese. And this is where ACCM needs Mayans. He needs to go Mayans here, because Archer civilizations are good against Burmese. And Mayans is probably top 3 Civ overall in the game right now, so you gotta go Mayans here. Go Mayans, try and lame and steal Viper's pig. That, in my opinion, should be the strategy. Okay, so while I have the time, again, thank you all for stopping by today. Thank you for being here. The love has been insane. Marcus, Maximus Quietus, Athite, thank you guys for the subs and resubs. Oh my goodness, the next game started. Okay, after this set, I'll get to the shoutouts. Sometimes we wait 15 minutes between games. Sometimes we wait 15 seconds between games. I'm kind of liking the fact that it's 15 seconds because, well, we have more action. So, again, my apologies if I'm unable to thank everyone for the love, but I'll get to it. And Viper's gone Malians. Okay, so assuming Viper wins this best of 5 and moves on to face either Hera or Tato in round 3, he will not have Malians. Interesting. You know, if ACCM gets a win here, then Viper will have to use another Civ. I hate to be unprofessional and assume that ACCM won't win this. It's possible for him, but it's going to be tough, right? But what Viper wants is a 3-0 sweep. That way he has more Civs available. Now, Malians are much better than Burmese against Mayans, because Malians have the high pierce armor infantry. I almost said interest rates. We're not selling any credit cards here today. But yeah, so if you were to get to champions versus Mayans in late game, it can be difficult for Mayans. Obviously, Mayans are still very strong, but there's more to talk about here. And we'll start with Viper's map. He normally has back golds, and he has 2 of them, so it's pretty much expected, right? But he does have a forward main gold, and he does have a forward stone as well. So if he doesn't have those resources, life could be difficult. I have one wish going into the next couple games. I just want Viper to get one bad map, you know? Just one time I want to see it. He will definitely still be favored, but I just want to see it. I just want 3 forward golds, you know? Just one time. That's one thing I want to see before I die. I don't want to see the 7 wonders of the world. I want to see Viper with a bad map. 3 forward golds on a hill, just one time. Rated game tournament, either one. Make it happen, Microsoft. Make it happen. Viper brings in his pig, and to my surprise, ACCM has not gone for the lame. ACCM is just pushing in his zebras. And I love ACCM's map. I like it. The stones, having safe stones as mines is a huge deal, and he can wall that in with one single palisade, one house there. I guess the golds are going to be tough because this gold's rough, and this one is as well, but I think you can easily secure the main gold by building in front of it. So he'll probably build his barracks here or on the hill. And then maybe if he can get to stone and go for plumes in this game, he could beat the Viper. So Malians, Viper Civ, one of the best civilizations in the game. All of their wood buildings are cheaper, so that means Viper's banking up quite a bit more wood at the moment. They have high pierce armor man-at-arms. Every age, they get free pierce armor on their infantry. So that means that the champions would have 8 pierce armor. But starting in feudal age, he'd have free pierce armor. So if you think your opponent is an archer civ, if you think your opponent's going for archers, you could start off with man-at-arms. Viper seems to be doing that now, but he also has the scout option. He also has the knight options. So they have strong cavalier, they have strong champions. That's what Malians will probably go for in this matchup. And there's no reason that ACCM should go eagles, or at least a lot of eagles in this matchup, because Viper won't be making archers, so it's got to be about how ACCM uses his archers in this game. I think that plumed archers, if you get enough of them, can kill any civ. They can even kill goths, right? Because they're mobile. You can move them around to do a lot of damage to your opponent's economy. So that's something that ACCM would like to get to. I honestly don't like the barracks placement. I like the fact that it's in front of the gold, but why not build it? Why not build it here instead, you know? Because now some of that gold is blocked off, but you know, that's the idea behind it. Build in front of the gold. And I imagine Viper will click up to feudal age just a bit faster than ACCM will. And then we'll see the man-at-arms. Yep, Viper goes to the back gold. Perfect. And there we are. So if Viper doesn't mass... Well, it's actually kind of awkward for Viper, right? Because he can't go full man-at-arms like he did last game. Normally you can't do that. But if he buys himself enough time, or even mixes in elite skirm, he could be okay. It's all down to the first man-at-arms engagement. Skip says, how about obsidian arrows? Well, I mean, it gives Mayans more options, right? But it's not something you want to... It's not something that you have in your sights initially in a 1v1. Viper and MBL showed us in the World Cup that you can have it as a strat for a 2v2. It's a bit more feasible then, but in a 1v1, that's definitely not something you think at the start. Like, oh yeah, we gotta get to obsidian arrows. It's not like plumes, which are good regardless. So 4 man-at-arms for ACCM. Viper has his scout here. And it will probably be 4 for Viper as well. Yeah, Viper's even going for 5. So what happens here is if Viper wins the first man-at-arms engagement, he will then have a few remaining man-at-arms that have high pierce armor. So it would be difficult for ACCM to begin with to deal with more men-at-arms. But it'll be even more complicated now because he can't just make a few archers and whittle these down. It's more difficult. So I like Viper's advantage now. And ACCM now, I believe he made a spearman for... Oh no, it's another militia. Okay, so he will have 5 militia, but he's losing HP already to Viper's scout. So what Viper needs is a bit of time here. Malians can only make their longswordsmen and their champions throughout the game if they have economy. So Viper needs to buy himself time, and an excellent micro from Viper. He hasn't killed anything, but he's weakened 3 units. And he'll just hold the front. No reason to go forward now. No reason to get too excited if you're Viper. Just out micro your opponent. And it's so tough for me to judge these fights, but Viper seems to have had the better micro. That's a weak militia, or weak man-at-arm for ACCM, 2 of them in fact. Viper, his 4 almost all on full HP, and ACCM will lose this fight. And now he needs an archer. An archer versus 3 full HP Malian man-at-arms. Viper, don't run into the TC! Okay. And Viper will still have more and more and more and more and more time. Again, good micro from him. Oh, he's even going to get some hits in on the archer. Yeah, this is so good from Viper. And what's he doing at home? He's going for 2 archer ranges. Okay. Interesting decision, actually. But he sees his opponent is delayed, and look at that. Look at that. Look what Viper has killed with these men-at-arms. He's done so much damage. And what Viper does in this situation, guys, I don't know if many of you realize this, he starts to scout the other areas of the map and watch his score go up. So I'm going to give you an actual quote from a conversation I had with pro players. So I was talking to Hera and to MBL, and they were actually talking about one of my games. They were talking to me about how I could have improved. And Hera goes, T90, what you can do in that situation, if you have... a free scout still, you can start scouting the other area of the map, and your opponent's going to see your score, and they're going to start freaking out. That's what Viper does. And I'd never really realized this. And then MBL goes, wait, no, Hera says to MBL, MBL, did you know Viper does that? And MBL's exact response was, oh yeah, I know all about his scouting shit. that was the conversation. It was great. But, you know, Viper making some skirmishers now out of his ranges. And look at Viper's score. He's scouting the other areas of the map. So, You know, it's not a bad thing. It's not just for score, right? It's obviously important to know where the relics are later on. It's important to know where the extra resources are. But that's something Viper will do when he has low HP scouts for sure. No, there was no clip of that. That was an offline conversation. I know most of my life is recorded, but sometimes I do have conversations with players offline. And so Viper has skirms. ACCM has skirms and archers. All Viper wants is to trade versus archers here. So ACCM needs to be careful. And now that ACCM is going to make eagles, that is the ideal situation for the Viper, because Viper has a strong infantry civilization, right? So he could go for knights in the next stage, which I think is probably better than longswordsmen to counter those eagles. Or he could go for longswordsmen. So you don't want to play heavy into eagles here if you're ACCM. I have not met Hera in real life. I've met MBL in real life, though, Britannicus. But no, we were speaking on TeamSpeak. It just wasn't streaming it at the time. So Viper, he's safe. You know, he's safe. He kills an archer there, so that gives him another kill. He's still scouting with his scout. Look at the scouting. We're at the 18th minute in game, and Viper sees where the extra golds are. He sees where most of the relics are. Does he see all of them? Yeah, he sees every relic. He'll soon see all the extra golds. Yep. It's something that Viper does very well, but it's just funny to hear what other pros think of it. MVL is obviously annoyed because he's played Viper enough times and they'll see the score difference and think, oh, I know what he's up to. And Viper with 400 food now, ACCM. Whoa! Beauty of Mayans Eco. My goodness. I figured he'd be slightly behind Viper. I guess it makes sense because Viper's created skirms. And ACCM has not created as many. But my goodness, 800 food. 800 food. He just needs a bit of gold and then he's on his way up. Now Viper has archers. And with this many archers, these eagles won't stand a chance. ACCM also getting horse color. Strong horse color time. We saw the T90 farms last game. He's going to have some this game as well because these farms will expire. And what ACCM wants is eagles and archers and skirms. He's going for 3 different things, which is not so easy. But I believe Viper should expect his opponent is up now. And Viper will need to either go long swordsman or he'll need knights. Oh, he could actually run in here. So Viper sits underneath the tower. That's so preventable if you ask me. ACCM could have walled that off. You know, if it was the Viper, he would have gated this, right? But okay, now Viper needs to be a bit careful. Because ACCM sending his own skirmishers and archers around. Viper's skirms have defense upgrades, though. Viper's a bit trapped in here, but he could get some value out of this if he uses his skirms appropriately. Oh, ACCM, come on, man, keep it house-walled. Okay, there's a stone gate. And you know, Viper's losing his army at the end of the day. It was sloppy, but Viper just lost all of his military, and he's down to 10 military. Could have been a bit cleaner for ACCM, like that villager shouldn't have died on the farm. Nice job from Viper to see that. But, you know, he's in Castle Age faster than the Viper, and he just killed all of Viper's archers and skirms. So, now that ACCM's in Castle Age, because he's made so many different units, he can't afford to upgrade all of them. Oh, and he goes for the wrong choice, in my opinion. He goes for Eagle Warrior. I don't know about that. I guess... No, that's the right choice. He doesn't have many archers, so it's fine. And Viper is going long swordsman. So long swordsman hype. And Viper, despite losing his military, is making more now. 2 barrack production of longswords. And he'll be going with archers. So what ACCM needs is skirm upgrade. So he needs to get elite skirm. And he needs the eagles. So we'll have a crossbow and longswords versus eagles and skirms. And it's just that Viper should have the better eco. He should have the better eco. He has a few more villagers. Excuse me, sorry for the sniffles, allergies this morning. But he also has Malians, so every wood building, every TC is a bit cheaper. So what Viper will tend to do in these situations is just hold out for the stronger economy. He won't go overly aggressive. He'll just be patient. ACCM doesn't have a single upgrade on these Eagle Warriors, so they'll die to crossbowmen. And he still doesn't have elite skirm, so this will be tough. But if you're Mayans, you need to kill Malians. You need to do damage to Malians before they get to Imp. If Viper gets champion here, I think there's nothing Mayans can really do. If ACCM had the plumed archers now, then he could use his mobility and start hitting different areas of Viper's map. But he's gone for eagles, and I don't think plumes will be coming anytime soon for ACCM. Definitely not something he can look towards and rely on at this point, because it would be way too late. He needs to go crossbow, skirmisher, and eagle. And there's the third TC for Viper. So that's the second... Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's the third new TC. That'll put him on 4 town centers. Which, honestly, is not always easy to pull off at this stage, even if you are the Viper, and Viper's building a market so we can buy food. But yeah, Viper's fine. Viper's fine. These eagles have done nothing. They have done no damage. It's just I fear for Viper on the front. This could be a real issue for him. That's a lot of ranged units. That's a lot of Eagle Warriors. And that's a massive hill. And so Viper's making a siege workshop. So now Bodkin Arrow's on the way. You can see ACCM's trying to catch up to this. And the guy's still on 1 TC. He's going all in 1 TC, at least at the moment. He hasn't collected any more stone, which is stone that he would need for a second TC. So just 1 town center aggression. Forward siege workshop. If Viper holds for the next 5 minutes, he'll have a massive lead. Because he has more town centers creating villagers. So it's a big investment to do that. You're putting hundreds and hundreds of wood into creating the town centers, not to mention the stone. And then you'll need the food to create the villagers. Oh, and Viper, don't let this siege workshop get denied. Did she just die in there? No, she's in there, guys. The villager's in there. There she is. The siege workshop did 96%. No! No! You needed the siege workshop. I don't know if it would have mattered, but the 2 villagers that came forward go down. That could have been finished. Viper has the long swordsman. Look at the pierce armor. 5 pierce armor. And now so many of the crossbows and skirmishers are dead anyway. Eagles won't be the answer to these long swordsmen. And I don't see a way back for ACCM now. Obviously, Viper has played very good in the last 2 games. But in game 2, it was sloppy from ACCM. And this game as well, very sloppy from him. Like right there, I think he needed to get the siege workshop up. And hope for a few Maganella trades versus Viper's crossbows. Oh, man. You know, is it nerves? Is it just a big skill gap? It's probably a mix of both, right? But Viper's looking good now. 86 population. For Viper, this is exactly what he would want because he wants to win this set 3-0. Because he doesn't want to use more civs. The more civs he uses in this set, the less he can use in round 3. Yeah, obviously if this was Hidden Cup, Viper would have died, right? Because he wouldn't have known. ACCM wouldn't have known it was Viper. Obviously. Kappa, of course. Yeah, I fear for ACCM now. I see him getting eagle upgrades, and he's hoping that he can make more eagles. But he could kill the crossbows, and then it would just be long swordsmen versus eagle warriors. So I just don't see what eagles do here. But the reality is that ACCM trained a lot for this tournament. He's obviously 16th seed. This is a big event, right? So while it looks like there's no way back for him now, he is going to try. Because if he doesn't win this game, his tournament is over. Viper now getting a hand card. Viper's on stone, so we can soon build a castle. And the only vulnerable area for... Oh, big fight on the hill. And this is a fight that Viper will win. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah. I think ACCM's dead. I was just going to say, Viper's only vulnerable area was this gold, and he'll castle that. And long swordsman and crossbow. Better than eagle and crossbow. No doubt. Exactly, guys. No doubt. That's also true. No doubt in this tournament, he lost in round 1 to Yingwall, who we will see facing off next. And, oh boy, well, hope for Viper fans, there's no doubt castles. Yeah, I don't think so. Viper comes forward with enough villagers. Viper's long swordsmen are so confident, they're not even attacking. There we go. Now he goes in for the attack. And that castle should go up. Now, there's a lot more eagles for ACCM. Well, hold on a second. He's making a sweat here. He's making a sweat here. Nah, the castle goes up. The castle goes up. Now, if that was doubt, that would have sent 4 villagers, and it wouldn't go up. But, yeah, the castle goes up, and the GG's called. And that best of 3 goes to Viper. That was a very, very quick best of 3. Pretty comfortable games for Viper. Game 1 was his, I don't want to say his worst game, but the game that ACCM troubled him more in. But still, Viper was pretty strong there, and I'm sure confident he would win it. Viper moves on to round 3. Viper will face either Hera or Tato, and at least here on Twitch, we'll be casting Hera and Tato tomorrow. Following up this set, in about an hour, I believe, we'll have Yingwall and Lan. For those that missed it, Yingwall beat Doubt 3-1 in round 1, which is what Viper was mentioning. And then also, Lan beat Tim, the Chinese legend, 3-0. So that's going to be a very exciting best of 5 coming up today. All of that will be on YouTube, of course, or you could watch the past broadcasts on Twitch if you don't want to wait. There's the economy difference if you were interested in that. There's the scouting. Viper had 90% of the map scouted. Probably the only part of the map he didn't scout was the back of ACCM's base. And that was just as comfortable as it gets for the Viper. Okay, so what I need to do is give you guys an update on what time the other set's scheduled for. Okay. So Yingwall and Lan are scheduled to play in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now, I'm not going anywhere. What I'm going to do is cast games all day. So we'll find some other games to cast. But that is the schedule. So in